little annoying tickle cough in my throat. So I might need to take a few pauses so that I don't have a coughing fit on you guys. If anybody has any questions they'd like to add on the chat, now would be a good time to do that. We have a volunteer. We're going to work with Audra Woodley today. So thank you, Audra, for volunteering. We're going to be working on some nervous system and some anxiety today, and we might look at digestion with that as well. And Audra, I'm gonna unmute you. Are you there, Audra?
I am.
You may need to put headphones on.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounded really like we were in a time warp. That was crazy. So it's a few minutes after 2. We're gonna start to get going here so that we can have time to do a session for Audra. First, I'd just like to introduce myself. I am Denise Arminio. I am a biofeedback practitioner. I've been using the Genius for about 2 years now with my practice, and I also am a certified emotion code and body code practitioner, and I love how they work synergistically together. So the Genius is great standalone, and also if you have a practice, it really blends well and works really synergistically with it. If anybody has any questions regarding those, I'm always happy to answer some questions on that. You could always email me at denise@insidehealthapps.com, and I can help answer any questions. And in the meantime, Claire, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, just I'm Claire. I'm over here in the UK. It's 7 p.m. for us. I've been a long time user right from the start because I have my own health issues. So I've covered a lot of avenues and various different paths. So yeah, I just use it for everything. And my penth did me the world of good this morning because I was in pain. So yeah, wearing that for a couple of hours really helped. But back to you.
All right. Well, okay. So Audra, would you like to just tell us a little bit about what's going on? I know that you have your nervous system is a little hyped up a bit, and you have some EMF issues. Why don't you just give a little brief, give us a brief idea of the symptoms you're experiencing and what you'd like to work with.
Okay. Well, essentially what my issue is that based in a lot of early childhood trauma, which has from the start put me in a very heightened, I guess, position or spirit, so to speak, that's essentially been on a high level of anxiety my entire life. So fast forwarding, that just sets the benchmark for where I am as an individual per se. But then lately over the summer, there were some specific things that I dealt with in terms of dealing with school, business startup, attending a grant program, a lot of things that were on, and at the same time working full time. So it was a lot of moving parts, and trying to stay on top of it really sent me down kind of like a spiral, in that my I guess, anxiety levels increased significantly. And of course, just being stressed out and trying to handle all of these parts. And I could really feel it in my, I want to say the frontal cortex area of the brain. I could also behind the eyes feel a lot of the stress and just, I guess, increase of energy just in this space here. And then, you know, which also leads you down a path that you're thinking about, well, you know, deterioration of brain. Obviously, if you're not nourishing it correctly, then, you know, you're running into that situation where you might be dealing with deadening of cells and the synapse theory and all of that. So, yeah. So just a lot going on as far as that's concerned. As far as the nutrition is concerned, I actually was and have been exceptional, because part of also I was doing some exploratory and experimental, I guess, situations over the summer, in that I was taking in majority of fruit for the most part of the day, at least 1,000 calories at minimum of fruit a day, and then migrating over into a couple meals that included all plant-based. So from that perspective, my system was extremely clean, but you still was running off of some stressors because, you know, if you're not getting in certain other nutrients, then obviously that can lead to some hormonal imbalance as well, and or issues with the immune system. So I just have had a lot going on, and I'm trying to, at this point, now that some things are coming to a calm state, I'm wanting to bring some leveling back into my system. I am taking, I went to a practitioner that specializes in muscle experimentation and treatment, and gave me, is thorn and taurine and thorn, that kind of thing. So to just calm the immune system. And then I'm also taking like a concoction of just a combination of greens along with some amino acids to try to get some normalization. But I'm on 10, beyond 10. So
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for just a minute. I'm sorry. I just want to be able to start getting started, because I can listen to you talk all day and tell me about all this, but we won't get to actually trying to clear any of this stuff. So with that said, let me first start by taking a little screenshot of you over here, so we have it. Okay, and I spelled everything right here for your name, and I have your birth date as June 16th.
Yes.
1967. Okay, so I'm going to hit next so we can continue here. And I bypass the screen. I don't typically fill anything out on this screen. It doesn't have anything to do with the scan. And so this is the screen where we're going to give our voice sample. So Audrey, you know what to do. I'm just going to count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin. And then you could say your full name, and you could either give an intention, what you would like your intention to be for this session, or you can say the vowels A, E, I, O, U until the 15 seconds ends. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1, begin.
Audra Kai Woodley. I am healed. I am restored. I am whole. Audra Kai Woodley.
Okay. Are you
Got two devices.
are you logged in twice?
I have to be logged in twice. Something's going on with my laptop where I have not been able to get sound from it, and I've been working with someone to get that. So I have that on mute.
Okay, the one is mute. Let's just try that one more time. I don't think they were both muted. So let's just try that one more time, because it was really, the sound was bad in the beginning.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Audra Kai Woodley. A-E-I-O-U. Audra Kai Woodley. I am healed. I am whole. I am restored. AEIOU.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm just going to hit next at the bottom. If any of you, if you've ever wondered what the voice harmonics is on the bottom left over here, you can hit this and this will actually play back. You'll hear what you just recorded as a frequency. It doesn't, it's usually a very low tone and you can't hear it very well. So I'm not going to play it right now, but that's what it is. And now we're just going to go to get your picture. And oops, it didn't come through yet. And why not? Oh gosh. Okay, let me just try taking your picture again.
I would do it without, Denise.
What?
I would do it without
Without the
seeing-
picture?
Yeah, it's not vital.
Okay, well then we're just gonna bypass it. I'm just trying to
Denise, you could try go to albums and then screenshots. That might work.
except that the Zoom commands right now are like overlaying the top part. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna bypass your picture right now. And, oh, sorry, skip. Do you have an affirmation you'd like to add, Audra?
I am whole.
Perfect. Okay, and I'm just going to run the analysis here. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick little explanation of the values and the colors that you see here, just for anybody that's new and may not know. The Genius works on a value system from 0 to 777. And that's broken up into 4 different colors: blue, green, yellow, and red. The blue refers to values from 0 to 100. And it's observed that anything that falls in the blue area or is in that number range from 0 to 100 are disturbances, energetic disturbances that are more chronic, or it's showing more stagnant energy. And then you get from 101 until about the mid 400 range, you'll have your green values. And then yellow will pick up where green left off in that mid 400 range and go to about 680. And then from about 680 to 777 is your red range. And that are going to be energetic disturbances that are more acute or more present. They may, in Chinese medicine, they may be referred to as heat or inflammation. When I'm working on scans, often I will pull values between 600 and above and 200 and below. And I'll tend to do this on areas where I'm really going to focus in on. If let's say we were working on, I don't know, like autoimmune, so any on my library that I was working with for autoimmune, I would pull the 600 and above and 200 and below. And the reason for that is when those items are in your main hold tray, when you run the scan, sometimes you'll find values that are close to the reds or blue may show up as high. So we just want to make sure that we're not overlooking anything when we're working with something. The other thing I tend to work with a lot when I start my scans is I will go to a general overview and I will show you how I get there in a minute. I just want to get Audra's aura picture before I forget. So to get the aura picture, you go into aura right here, which is under biofield, and you just click on the line and then you hit begin analysis. That will come back in a second. There we go. And I'm just going to take a picture of this. So this is a pretty good aura. You're seeing some bright, vibrant colors coming in here on the right side, and some of this more dull or pale colors is what's moving out. But generally what I look for when I look at auras is I want to see bright, vibrant colors. Those colors will typically are represented by the different chakras. And anything that's sort of pale or muddy looking or like browns or grays, that's going to really represent more stagnant energy. So we're looking to break that up so that we could clear it out and open everything up. Some people go into a little bit more analysis than that. That's not my wheelhouse. I don't do that, but I'm really happy when I see the bright, vibrant colors coming in. Okay, so now you'll see for Audra, the Genius is saying is the area of most disturbance is in the body area. Now, it doesn't look like that from looking at this right away because we just see glands that are showing as red and the body systems as blue. But we do know that if we drill deeper by opening up these different areas, that we will see different areas that may need more attention. If we look at today's stress, we can see that connective tissue and infection are showing an energetic disturbance. Now, I just want to remind everybody, the Genius is not a diagnostic test in the allopathic sense. It is showing energetic disturbance. So you can't take anything from your scans and bring it to a doctor and say, this is off or I need help here, because you're not comparing apples to apples. So I just wanted to mention that. And then we're seeing lymphatic, cardiovascular, and degeneration on the bottom. So we're just going to keep that in the back of our heads right now when we look through the different areas. But so what I like to do first is if you click on system overview, it will bring you to general overview. I'm just going to hit begin analysis here. And this area is going to give you the expanded view of everything that was on that system overview page. And it will reorder it all with all the drop downs in it in chronological order. So you'll be able to see all your highs together. And then if you scroll down all the way down to the blue. So for Audra, we see in her meridians, her point CV6, she has a proline, amino acids, minerals, manganese, again, central vessel, some Bach flower essences, her kidney meridian. If we click on general overview again, it will bring us to the bottom view quickly. And here we can see sensitivity to garlic. Do you have an issue with garlic?
I don't have an issue at all with it other than the fact that I cook with it.
Okay. Well, you might use it. Do you use it a lot? That just might be why.
I hadn't been though. I just recently purchased some more. Yeah. So I don't know.
It doesn't mean that you have a sensitivity, but sometimes if it's showing up as blue, there's been that disturbance for a more chronic period of time. So, it's just keep an eye on it is all I would say, or try not eating it for a little while and see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to run this. If you bring the toggle up to the top, it says 15 minutes. But if you touch on that circle again, it changes to 0. So that will give me, I could run it. It will run until I stop it. And I'm just going to hit quick balance. So this is going to run all the reds and all the blues until I stop it. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I didn't touch anything. Okay, so you can see on the bottom, it says average percent rectification. It's saying a 32% rectification. So that's pretty good. We just ran a lot of frequencies. I know it doesn't look like a lot when you're just looking at it, but if I were to scroll, there's a lot of blues and there's a lot of reds, and it's usually, I normally think it's pretty much like of an even mix between all 4. So there's a lot in here. There's hundreds. So a 32% rectification is really good. So I can feel pretty happy that when I go back, that if I don't go in and out of every one of these different panels, that I have addressed the reds and the blues. But let's just look at glands, as that one's showing. Now, glands is showing as red, and there are no reds here, although pineal is showing as it's above 600, and the hypothalamus is low, and then we have the pancreas. I would add those to the main whole tray on the bottom. And I might also, just because the glands is red and we didn't see any reds, I will usually add that to the tray as well, because it might just be glands in general is giving a disturbance. I'm going to look at digestion here. And here we see pancreas showing up again. So it starts to form a little bit of a pattern. I dragged and dropped it, but since I already have pancreas, it didn't really add it to that number. And I will add small intestine, mouth, and then enzymes and large intestine as those, oh, and esophagus. Those are 600 and above and 200 and below. That's why I added those ones in here that were green. The other panel that I always go into in this section is spinal energy. Because I want to make sure that all the nerves endings and everything are working in an optimal condition, because that's all the information from your brain is going outward to the external parts of your body. Again, this looks pretty good. There are no reds in there. But I will do 600 and above and 200 and below again. When I press this plus sign on the bottom left next to the main whole tray, I'm going to add the blue items, so it just automatically added all of those. And I'm going to add C5, thoracic 4, 12, the sacrum, and C1. And Catherine, I know you asked me a question. I will look at that in 1 minute. And we looked at today's stress. We can add in the red and the blue in here. And if anybody's asking me why I didn't put in 600 and below and 200 and above, it was just kind of my gut. I find working with the genius a lot, go by your gut instinct. And if you're drawn to something, put it in. You can't make a mistake. You can't give any frequencies that would cause any harm, because your body's only going to take what it needs. But it's really important to listen to that inner compass that you have. And if something is calling your name that you want to add it. That's my best advice I can give. As well as also always drink water when you're using the Genius. It's really important. I will also add in emotions. Emotions are really important. I'm just going to add the reds and the blues here. Actually, I'm going to add anxiety. I'm going to add the 600s and above. Cancel.
So you don't do the emotions on a separate, or just depends?
Sometimes I do. The reason I'm not really when I'm doing the demo scan is because if I run everything separately,
it takes forever.
It takes a lot of time. So I'm trying to go through on how, like, I go and what I'm pointed to on what to add. But there are a lot of different ways you can run the scans on it. I'm just trying to be a little bit systematic. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. I also want to add in the Bach flower essences here. Oops, I didn't want that guy. Was that the question? Was that Catherine's question? I can't.
Yeah, we're kind of answering. She's suggested perhaps connecting your imprinter rather than having the sound come over via Zoom, but I'm sure that would interfere with the talking over Zoom. So and I'll read what she's put. I'm not sure, but recently realized it's a great way to receive frequencies without having the sound. She's very sound sensitive. So yeah, that's good.
I would say, yes, that's true, except that when you're running the sound, when we're doing the scan, as we're doing it now, the frequencies are really also going through the quantum field as well. I can turn the volume off, but then you wouldn't hear me talking. So I hear what you're saying about the imprinter. But maybe you just turn your sound off when I'm running it so that you're not hearing it. Okay, the biofield. This is, to me, one of the most important areas. It's not showing up for Audra as being one of the top areas or priority for you today, but I do spend a lot of time with the biofield. In one particular area, which I would tell everybody to pay a lot of attention to, is the spiritual protection. just looking at grounding in itself, if you're not grounded, you're going to either have anxiety or depression. So Audra, for you, grounding, important, important, important. You always want to stay in the present moment. So on this one, I'm actually going to add, I think I threw something out up here. Let me just get rid of it. Hold on, let me add the red items.
Can I ask a question? Does somebody have a dog that they're feeding? It
Yeah,
sounds-
it's my dog is just drank water and she goes nuts after she drinks.
So
I'm
you can't hear.
sorry.
Sorry
She'll
about
stop in a
that.
minute. Sydney.
Bless. Sorry.
No, I can't turn her off. Okay, so I'm gonna run this for 2 minutes for you. And we're gonna, the reason I put it in the quick zap tray is because I wanted to do all of them. I found running all of them sometimes is beneficial. A lot of times you could also run the spiritual protection in the main hold tray before you start anything and run it a couple of times, because after you run it and then rescan it, you might find some that show up as highs, and it's kind of like gets through a different layer every time, but this is a really important, for me, I feel it's a really important panel. A lot of times psychic attack will show up if you're experiencing physical symptoms. And again, grounding and some of those other areas. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. It's just important to make sure that you're clearing those. Okay, so 44% rectification, so that's awesome. If I had this in the main hold tray, I would run it again, but we did get a good rectification, so I'm pleased with that. I will add in grounding for sure into the main hold tray, auric protection. I'm going to actually add all the red ones in here. And the 600 and aboves. The other thing I like to look at on meridians, I find working with meridians is really helpful too. You can eat up your whole main hold tray if you worked on all of these. So sometimes you may want to just work with them individually. For today, I'm just going to work on putting the conception vessel and the governing meridian into the main tray. And I always work with those two just because you want to have your central vessel and your governing vessel or your central channel. You want to make sure that that energy is flowing because it feeds all your other meridians. So if there's any kind of blockage in those two, you're really going to restrict your other ones. You can, if you hit on the line for governing meridian, you can actually go in and see the individual points. I'm not doing that today, but another thing that you could always work with in here is you can put the governing vessel in or whichever meridian you're working on and put the first and last point if you didn't want to put all those points in, to the first and last, and hopefully that will help get everything flowing in the meridians. I find that to be really helpful as well. I'm also going to look at here your chakras. Your chakras look pretty good. I will put in the ones that are 600 and above and 200 and below. Nogiers. For anybody not familiar with the Nogiers, Dr. Nogier found that your organs and your glands have their own frequency. So you can think of it like a fingerprint. So you want to make sure that those frequencies stay balanced. And if they go out of balance, we want to bring them back to homeostasis. Nogier G is the universal frequency. So I always add that one. Nogier L has to do with brain function, left and right brain communication, concentration, memory, depression, and dyslexia. Audra, do you have any concentration issues or?
Absolutely. I mean, when I was giving my explanation, I told you there was a lot of what felt like stagnant energy
In the frontal cortex.
frontal cortex area. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is a good area for you to work on. Also, Nogier E is your nervous system. So this was 600, but for you, a nervous system is going to be really important, especially if there's any hyperactivity in there or overstimulation. And anxiety showed up for you in emotion. So we really want to try to calm your nervous system. And hopefully that will help. So Vegiotones are similar to Nogiers, except that they're frequencies that work within our biofield at a more spiritual level. I always put in 528. That is the frequency for transformation and miracles, as well as DNA repair. These look really good for you, so I'm not going to add anything else in there. And now I'm going to go into libraries. And let's see what shows up here. Sorry, it takes a few minutes. I have a lot of libraries. Audra, how would you have, I didn't ask you this in the beginning, but before we started, if you can remember, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, where would you have rated how you were feeling for the day?
In comparison to the other days, probably an 8.
Okay, I just wanted to get a point of reference so that when we finish, we can see how you're feeling. I am going to look for some of our anxiety libraries here. I'm going to look at this anxiety assessment first, and I'm just going to add the reds and the blues, as well as the 600s and above. So there'll be some solutions in here mixed in with some triggers and some other terrors. I'm also going to look at some specific brain areas for you, Audra, to see what comes up. So there are brain areas in this particular library as well, which is helpful. Okay, so we're already on this is another really good library in here. Our coworker Connie made this library, and I love it. And I'm gonna add in some of these different areas in here. Sorry, I'm looking for specific ones in here that I created that deal with the nervous system. Okay, so let's see what shows up here now. So normally what I do here is I'll run everything in this progressive insights for 1 minute twice, rescanning in between, and then I'll run just the highs for 3 minutes. So actually anxiety showed up on top here for you, Audra. We'll see, hopefully that will clear, but let's run that for 1 minute. Hope we're getting to everybody's questions. If whoever has questions,
I'm
you can
trying
keep
to answer.
adding them on the side. And also a great thing to do is to please post your email if you can with a question. That way, if we don't have time to get back to it today, we can answer you, or you could always email either of us your questions and we can get back to you. My email again is Denise@Insight Health Apps. And Claire, you're Claire at Insight Health Apps?
Yes, that's
Hey, I
where.
did it.
Although I can't send through that, but I'm getting the incoming. Yeah, I think everything's covered regarding question wise. Yeah. How many items do you like to put in the main hold tray, Denise?
I have 190 in here right now. What was your question? How many do I normally put in?
Yeah, just, or do you like, what's your maximum?
I'd like to have as little as possible, but it always seems that I have at least 200.
Right, okay, yeah.
But so I try not, I mean, there have been times where there have been more, but a general rule is I'd say about 200 to 220, 225. So it just depends. I put this on 0 minutes. You had an 18% rectification. It's not awful, with like at least 20%, but we're going to run it again. So hopefully we'll get a better rectification this time. Also have to remind everybody, you need to look at there. We have a lot of great libraries on Inside Health app. So head on over when you're looking for libraries and look at all the different libraries. There's a lot of different people have creators have their libraries in there, and they're all really wonderful libraries. So you do definitely have to check it out. Ah, awesome. So now you have 45% rectification. I'm happy now. So we're going to rescan again. We will run just the highs for 3 minutes now. And so we see serotonin deficiency, mouth, cervical 1 infection, norepinephrine, hypothalamus. So you have a bunch of grounding showed up in here. I will put emphasis on grounding for you. Walk barefoot, hug a tree. I'm going to hit play for these. Wendy, I run all for 1 minute, 2 times, rescanning in between, and then just the highs for 3 minutes. Catherine, your question on the general overview. The general overview runs all frequencies on the first page in their expanded version. So it's everything, except for anything in libraries. It's everything from body, biofield, and mind. So when you run the quick balance, it's running every red and blue from every item in the Genius except for libraries. Yes, it is. So Catherine saying that's a great way to do a daily clearing, and it is, because it's really getting your reds and your blues on everything that are in those 3 categories. So if you have time for nothing else, just by getting 3 minutes in there, or running it to get a good rectification percentage is a really great balance in and of itself. If you have time for nothing else, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've got into bad habits of just going to my regular ones that I check. And so I miss out the things like the electrical sensitivities and chemical sensitivities. And by using that general overview, it's including a lot of those items in that I wouldn't.
Yeah, because there's definitely things that you may overlook, but when you work with it in the general overview, you're definitely getting a good percentage of them anyway, depending on what that rectification number is.
Yeah.
I don't have COVID, by the way. Just saying, just putting that out there. I'm all good. I'm healthy, except for this little annoying tickle. All right, 27% rectification. That's not bad. That's like 30% of those highs. So what we're gonna do right now is now we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at what Audra's aura looks like and then see if we can, if anything needs to tweak it a little bit. So this is your before aura. How you doing there, Audra? You
I'm
okay?
doing well. I'm fine.
Okay, so
Mm.
this I often see a lot. It just means when you're working with a lot of items, sometimes everything hasn't like settled or processed yet. So what I like to do when I see an aura like this is I'll go to my libraries and I like running the gemstones or any of these. You could use Australian flower essences. You can use the Bach flower essences. I happen to be partial to the Alaskan ones. So I'm going to run a quick balance right now for, I don't know, maybe 45 seconds and see if that helps clear up that stagnation. So that's 27%. We can see if that's enough to make any kind of a change. So you can see already it's starting to get brighter and colors are starting to come in there for you. How are you feeling, Audra?
I guess relaxed.
Well, relaxed is good.
I'm getting sleepy.
What?
I'm getting sleepy.
Well, that's a good sign. That means there's a lot of processing going on. That's really good. Do you have water there? You should also be
Oh
drinking
yeah,
some
I'm
water.
drinking water. Oh yeah. Mm.
Good. How on that scale, same scale as 0 to 10, would you still put yourself at an 8? Where would you put yourself?
No, I would say I've come down a little bit to about probably about a 6.5, 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that you're calm. Let's see if we can do anything to help you out a little differently here.
I think when you play back the tape, if you look at it, recording, you'll see from the beginning was like this. And now I'm just,
Yeah, you seem a little,
yeah.
let's run some of these flower essences for you for a little bit. Wendy, yes, if you had a client that was deaf and they could not listen to the frequencies, the waves are still going through the quantum field so that they would receive them. So they would be okay. But I would also say for someone who couldn't hear, if they could have their hand, if you have your headset or anywhere where their speaker is, they could always feel the vibrations. They might find that to be calming, but even if they didn't have that, they would definitely receive a benefit from getting the frequencies through the quantum field. And I'm going to gonna run these environmental ones for you for a minute.
Yeah. Well, some of those.
Let's see. Come on, this thing is so weird. Hopefully it looks brighter and I didn't just send you a lot more frequencies again. Ooh, that looks
Ooh.
pretty.
Ooh.
So hopefully you feel as good as that aura looks.
I do. I'm gonna take a nap.
Yay. All right. Well, we're just about on the top of the hour. Does anybody have any other questions? Audra, do you have any questions you want to add, or can I mute you or?
Well, just the one. I was just curious if you had noticed any of the like EMF disturbances or computer screens or.
Well, we
you
can
know.
go look at that. I didn't, let's just go see what that says here.
Because that's very instrumental, that electrical sensitivity.
So you have computer monitors is showing up. We can, let me just see. Here is one. So let's run this one for you really quick. We'll just
Okay.
run the a quick balance on these. Thank you for reminding me.
That might make the aura even better.
I think though, Audra, I'm getting this feeling that you need to run the spiritual protection on you a little bit more frequently. I would put all of those just in the main hold tray and just run them. All of them. So we got 36% rectification on that. So that's pretty, so that's good. Anything else?
Nope, I'm satisfied.
Well, excellent. Well, come back next week and let us know how you're feeling.
I will. I will.
All right. And if anyone else, please, again, you can either comment or we're going to be having like the sign up. I know some people had some trouble signing in. Audra, you were one of them.
Yeah,
were you ever able to sign back in? I was able to test it out and I could sign in on my phone. I don't know if did anybody else have any trouble, or those that were able to register, did you register on your phone? Or was it on a laptop or iPad? If you could just add that to the screen so we can have that information, because I don't know why some people were having issues and some weren't. Sometimes technology is not always our friend.
Could on phone, but not on laptop. No.
Okay, I could on my phone, but not on my laptop. Okay, so that's interesting. Audra, you tried on both your phone and laptop and couldn't? Okay, well, hopefully we'll get it straightened out for next time. Please email. Would love your suggestions on what you would like to have to see us work on. for, the weeks coming up. So please, Denise at Inside Health Apps or Claire at Inside Health Apps, and we'd love to get to your questions or to whatever demos you'd like to see or any specific libraries you'd like to have us work with. So just give us a shout out. Anyway, it was great working with you. I will see you all next year. Have a great, have a great week and a great New Year's. And it was a pleasure working with everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, Denise. Thank you for everyone showing up.
That's all. That's all she wrote. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, Audra.